Paranormal Andy and Phantom Dark Dave. The Screaming Skull Podcast.
What's up, everybody? You're listening to a brand new episode of the Screaming Skull Podcast. We are your hosts. I'm Phantom Dark Dave.
And I'm Abnormal Andy.
Andy, we finally get to talk werewolves again.
Yeah, but this time some horny werewolves, right?
Yeah, I'm a little concerned, but we'll get into that. But hey, we're not alone. We're bringing on a good personal friend. In fact, it's kind of funny. Last time he was on here, we still talked about werewolves, but let's go ahead and get a round of applause and bring back Neil Fraser. What's up, dude?
How are we doing, fellas? It's been quite a while since I've seen you guys.
Yeah, it's good to have you back on. Once again, talking about another Howling movie. But
I just want to go out and say we should lock Neil in for the entire Howling franchise.
Yeah,
right.
2 down, 5 to go. Yeah.
yeah. It just get better
there's
from
8,
here, right?
Dude. There's actually 8.
Is it 8?
Yeah, because the Howling Reborn was the 8th one.
Yes, sorry.
And
yes.
I want to. And I figured if Andy makes me sit through the Howling 2, I'm going to make him sit through the Howling 3, and then we'll just go down that road. But
All right.
Neil, it's great to have you back. What you been up to, man?
Oh, to keep my head down, working, trying to, make my way in the biz and stay afloat and keep a house, roof over my head. But it's been good. The last year or so has been pretty good for me, work-wise, and I've dropped for 38 pounds so far. And since I last came on with you guys, so yeah, this was intended. This was intended weight loss. This was the stress-related weight loss.
That's great.
For anybody who might be listening to this episode, or at least this podcast for the first time because they like this movie, Neil Fraser makes posters. I mean, anytime you've seen Andy or me, you've probably seen some connection to Neil. But Neil, one thing I was wondering is, I apologize if I have forgotten this. Have you made any Howling posters?
Oh, I mean, back in the day, I think I did do a Howling. I swear I did start, or at least get halfway through a Howling 2 poster, but it was terrible. So I bailed on it.
Okay, so needless to say, there's none for sale.
Not yet. No, but I am starting to get inspired to go back into it. But I have folders and folders and folders of work that I've started and then ditched, and then I'll come back to it 3 years later and redo the whole thing. But never happy.
Isn't that the struggle of a true artist?
Yeah, no matter what I do, it's there's always something I should have done better, or it's the curse, unfortunately.
I wonder if the filmmakers behind Howling 2 feel the same way.
Well, I know Christopher Lee did, didn't he?
Well, definitely.
Didn't he apologized to the director of
Joe Dante,
didn't he?
Yeah.
Sure did. Hey, Andy, I'm getting a little excited here. You want to go ahead and play the trailer?
Yep, let's do it.
Party time! Ow! It's the rocking, shocking, new wave of horror. Howling II.
Dreams again, howling.
Howling II. It's not over yet.
All right, so here we are, Howling II, Your Sister's a Werewolf, 1985. We're 4 years after the original, and, we kind of continue the storyline, but not in a way that you might expect. This time, we don't have Dee Wallace or Eddie the Mangler. We also don't have Rick Baker or Rob Bottin. Instead, we have Captain America, a great value Jamie Lee Curtis, and some Planet of the Apes costumes. Now, if you think that that's all that this movie has to offer, you'd be wrong, because in addition to this, we are gifted three wonderful things, and I know you're all going to agree with me. We have a new wave and punk rock atmosphere. We have Sybil Danning, and as Neil mentioned, Christopher motherfucking Lee. Andy, I got one question for you. Exactly how long have you been into werewolf porn?
Man, yeah, it's just been one of those things that just kind of grew over time. I don't know. It's like I don't know, there was a full moon and once and
You started getting hair in mysterious places?
yeah.
All right,
No.
I guess what I really mean is when does your love go back? How far? When did you first see The Howling 2?
So I saw this on like network TV. It was like on a Saturday afternoon. There was like a UHF station that showed like horror movies on like Saturday afternoons. This was one of them, believe it or not. And I was like a young teen, probably preteen boy, and so this totally just caught me, I guess at the wrong or right moment, whatever you want to say.
It
But
must have been a pretty edited movie though, huh?
yeah, I'm sure. I don't quite remember, but it actually, like at the age I was, it actually was kind of scary for me, with some of the werewolf scenes and stuff like that, because I don't think I mean, I'd seen a werewolf movie or TV show or something here and there, um, but this definitely has some moments where people are attacked and things like that, and I think those kind of stuck with me. Even though watching the movie later on, the effects don't really hold up. The werewolf makeup is kind of goofy. Just the whole movie itself is just it. It's the editing is a mess, and the tone is just all over the place. But as a kid watching this was like a great werewolf movie.
And so when you watch the movie now, do you still watch it with the eyes of when you were younger, or are you kind of burdened by things you notice, like you mentioned the effects and whatnot, and how like maybe choppy it's edited together?
Yeah, I mean, I tried to kind of like keep my I don't know, I try
Nostalgia
to
glasses
yeah, I try
or
to keep my
goggles.
nostalgia glasses on. But especially this last time watching, I just noticed how like they just like intercut scenes here and there that just didn't really go anywhere or it was weird.
Right.
And then I noticed that you reused a lot of footage, throughout
Yep.
the movie, and especially music wise, they reused that one song over and over again. I
Hey, at
guess
least it was a banger.
it's a cool song. I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong. I mean, but it's like they just
12
licensed that one
times.
song.
12 times. It got featured 12 times in the
Hey,
film. I
that's not the
counted.
only thing they show you 12 times in this movie.
Oh
So
yeah,
that's 17 times. It's 17 times if you're thinking
yeah,
about the
Counting.
same thing as I am.
How about you,
yeah.
Neil? I mean, Andy saw this when he was younger. How far back does it go for you?
Same. I mean, same. I mean, I saw this before I saw The Howling, purely because Blockbuster didn't have The Howling in. So I got the second one. And this was my introduction to the Howling franchise, I believe, which is fine, but I obviously would watching it with my dad. So there, we'll get
Now,
into
I guess
that,
the real
but
question is, has your dad seen this before? Because that's some questionable parenting, am I right?
I would hope he hadn't, because if he was trying to tell me something, um, but
Your
he
your
hasn't
dad's
mentioned
like,
furry
sit
since.
down. Today you become a man.
17 times, yeah.
That's right. Oh man. So for me, actually, I did not see this younger. I had seen The Howling one first, but I saw this movie because Andy, I knew that he really loved it, and we actually had interviewed Felipe Mora, and so I saw this for the first time about 7 years ago. And I gotta say, I have seen it a few times since then, and I will definitely put this in the category of so bad it's good.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I mean, from like Christopher Lee to the the special effects, like the werewolf slash ape costumes, it is so bad it's good. Even to the point where it's funny that Christopher Lee tries to explain the ape costumes in the movie.
Oh
He
yeah.
tries to give like this explanation for him. So I thought that was hilarious. Like if anybody asks me what this movie is, like I'm gonna say this is like if Hammer horror, like if you took a Hammer horror film and like put it on MTV, that's kind of what we get
Yes.
here, I feel like.
You know, it's funny. I showed this movie to Julie for the first time the other day, and she made a really outstanding comparison that you just heavily backed up. She said this movie gave her the same vibes as Blood Tracks.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, because it was yeah, that was kind of a musical 80s movie too. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a movie that rolls off the same tune the entire time and just gives you that
Well,
fun 80s vibe.
does does anybody else miss the days where films had their own theme song?
Oh
Yes,
yeah.
Because
of course.
I wish we'd go back to that because you had this for Killer Clowns, Gremlins essentially had its own theme song, but it's it's something to be. I mean, I know some franchises kind of do it. Scream have done it, haven't they, with Ice Nine Kills? But that's not featured in the film as like where they would have the actual theme song playing during the film. Ironically, the theme song being called "The Howling,"
Yes.
and it's kind of
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like Ghostbusters had their own theme song, and
yeah.
And Lawsuit. Hey.
yeah. And like Ninja Turtles, I think they had like a Vanilla Ice song or something like that. And yeah, I
Oh
definitely
man.
miss those days where they had like the marketing back in the 80s and early 90s was so great. I mean, yeah, I feel like that's definitely something that's missing from movies nowadays.
Well, Batman had an entire soundtrack, didn't it,
Yeah,
from Prince of essentially theme songs. So
Classic.
um,
for sure. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it, it's there's some. It felt like at times that they had this band for one night, so they just had them do that one song at film
Well,
the gig thing, and we got to get our money's worth, so they were just sort of sticking it in
I feel like there's just been
randomly.
a disconnect between like rock and roll and horror movies because that seemed to be the cool thing. I mean, even having montages almost feels like a thing of the past. When I think of a good montage in a horror movie, and I say good with air quotes, I think of one of our favorites, Andy. What's the movie with, oh, Evil Laugh? And we got some booty shaking and
Oh yeah, that's
fireplace cleaning.
right.
It's ridiculous, but
Yeah.
something about that kind of like hair metal and fun horror movies just go together. Where I still like what we get today, but it seems like they have definitely gone more into the instrumental vibe, like especially anything with like James Wan or anything like that. But it does create a different vibe, and so I guess what we're getting into is horror movies are just different now.
Well, you combine that with the lack of tailor-made trailers. Um, we were around. We were coming into this at the right time where we just had theme songs. We had custom-made trailers that were nothing to do with the film. They were
Yeah.
separately shot, so you didn't spoil anything. Um, Great artwork on films, and then um, you know freeze frame endings on films and
Oh,
things. My favorite thing ever
you,
is the freeze
Neil,
frame
we are one
ending.
and the same, my dude.
That and the Predator style end credits
Oh
where
yes.
you do the turn and laugh, and then you know
Yeah, I love that. They show each character and their real name and it's like it's like a blooper shot, not bloopers, but it's kind of like a shot where they're like break character. I love that.
yeah
Yeah.
It almost looks like the damn intro to Family Matters, where each one walks up,
yeah
to the mailbox and
Oh,
looks at the screen and smiles.
yeah.
Well, we should probably talk a little more Howling too, but I think hopefully we're all in good company that we all enjoy watching this movie. And the opening's pretty cool. We get some continuation of the first one because they're already talking about a character that we know, Karen White. But as mentioned, Dee Wallace is not in this movie because we're at Karen White's funeral, and we get to introduce to who our main characters in the movie are, which are going to be Ben, who is Karen's brother, Jenny, who worked with Karen, and we meet Stefan, played by Christopher Lee, and he's an occultist. I remember right when I heard that, I immediately was like, "How do you get that job? That sounds amazing."
Yeah. I don't know. I think that's something I've wanted to.
I've never seen that on a form. I've never been talked to by a guidance counselor about that option. Like, if you could go back and do it over again, I should at least entertain the idea of what an occultist really is.
Well, when I was at college, I really wanted to get into cryptozoology, and I
Oh
had a
yeah.
similar thing with that. There was just it's like, well, it must be a real thing, so you
Right.
must be able to study it.
Yeah.
I think
I'm
they would call
assuming.
you on it being a real thing. That's the point, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, you look at some of the degrees you can get nowadays. There's no reason why there shouldn't. I mean, I'm sure occultism is probably part of a psychology or a criminal psychology course. It probably will cover it in some degree, but yeah, I'd love to have some business cards made up with occultist written on it.
You know what
Oh
that
yeah.
reminds me of? And Scream 6, no spoilers, but the intro, you have the character who's a teacher and she like teaches a class based on slasher movies. I'm like, I never got offered that course. That sounds
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, I know they have like they have these different college classes that are focused around like horror, different like tropes of horror movies and stuff like that, and of course they try to tie in like cultural references or like common themes that resonate with like what's going on in the world and stuff like that. But yeah, if I was in college, I would love to have classes like that. Of course, I guess I could always go back and take some if I really
Might
wanted
actually
to.
pay attention this
Well,
time, am
my
I right?
My
Yeah.
my friend, I actually had a friend that moved over to the UK from LA, and she teaches at Birmingham University over here, horror movie, and different. She teaches horror movie in horrors, something to do with horror movies, film, and she specializes in horror. So shout out to Zanti because she is friggin' awesome. But she brought some of the horror world over here to teach at Birmingham University.
That's
And I've met
amazing.
several of her students at HorrorCons that happen to have been taught by her, and they say she's awesome. So
All
Oh,
right,
that's
well,
cool. Yeah.
shout out to her. Andy, we're at this funeral, and I've told you about our main characters we meet. I can't leave out Mariana. She's kind of one of our main werewolves.
She is, yeah. And she seems to be kind of like the LA based werewolf, like you got, as we kind of find out, the werewolves are kind of spread out all over the world. And, we start the movie off in Los Angeles. Did they actually film it in Los Angeles or is this just like,
I did read that,
briefly,
yeah,
okay,
they did film just a little bit.
yeah.
but it was
So,
Prague. Prague was the rest of the film was in Prague, but
Well, yeah,
briefly
uh,
in
because you're
LA.
like, why does everybody in LA have an accent?
yeah, I noticed that too. Yeah, definitely in the club scene and like all that stuff, that first scene with those guys that I don't know that wanted to party. I don't know what you call them, but the ones that followed Marianne into the warehouse, like those guys definitely have the accents and stuff.
Did you
Um,
get, like, I was reading about it, this particular character they had to invent for this, and also just so people are aware, like the Howling 2, Your Sister's a Werewolf, is not really made from the Howling 2 book. That is pretty much its own entity. So this is strictly a direct sequel to the first movie. But the reason I bring that up is because they created this character almost as a replacement for a character we had in part one, the one played by, I think, Terry Fisher. Was it Belinda Balaski? You know what I'm talking about? I think I had the name swapped
Yeah,
around, but she wore the black leather and everything like that.
oh yeah,
So
yep,
it's
I
kind of
think
an
so.
interesting little fun fact.
That makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. So I wonder if it's like kind of just like she's kind of like a spin-off from that group from the first movie, kind of
Quite
like somebody,
possibly.
and but they don't stay in LA too long because the Ben finds out that Stefan is gonna kill his sister or drive a stake through her heart. He's like, nope, that's not gonna happen. And so he like, tries to go and stop him, and that's kind of where we get our transition to Transylvania later on.
Yeah, and we have to mention that, normal silver is not going to work this time. We're going to level up and we're going with titanium.
Yeah, because Mariano is one of these special werewolves that's immune to silver, so that's kind of interesting.
Was it
well,
just
also
me, or did you guys pick up on the idea that this was a vampire story that they modified to be a werewolf story?
Yeah, I could see that.
also they mentioned in there that so basically to undo everything they did in the first film, they explained that because they took the silver bullets out um, um, of the sister, that she becomes un unexecuted. So
Yeah, like the bullets have to stay in the body for them to stay dead, basically. Yeah.
Which I guess could make sense because the silver would still be in the bloodstream, I guess. But I thought once you were dead, you were dead. He's
Yeah,
not a real
well,
werewolf.
this is one of the. I think this is one of many, one of many suspect plot holes that this film may
Rule
have.
bending we got going on here.
Yeah.
Andy, what did you think of how Stefan showed Ben or explained to Ben that his sister was dead? He miraculously had some VHS raw footage.
Yeah, he had like the Faces of Death VHS there, and he was showing that he was like, "Hey, you want to see this VHS tape I got?" And like, yeah, he just kind of happened upon like I guess he has some sources in the news department or whatever,
I guess
wherever
so.
Karen worked, and he's like, "Here, see, look at this videotape," and put it on, and just showed Ben, a video of his sister getting blasted, and of course Ben didn't take it too well. Well, Ben was saying,
Who
"Oh, that's
would?
fake." Yeah,
Yeah, he
yeah, for
was in
sure.
complete disbelief, but you got to leave it to Jenny, who is probably the most stale actor in this entire
Yeah.
movie. Again, as Neil said, Christopher Lee, he's in this movie just because he had never been in a werewolf movie before, and that sounds like the greatest reason to me to be in The Howling Part 2. But it seemed like we were getting some Donald Pleasance Halloween 4 treatment, where sometimes your best actor in the movie has to walk off and realize if they made the right decision or not.
Yeah.
Well, I think my favorite line in that is when Ben sort of saying, "No, it's absolutely not true," and then Jenny's just like, "I recognize some of those people,"
Yeah.
and you're just
Yes.
She
like,
works with some of those people, yeah.
brilliant, brilliant, absolutely brilliant acting.
Yeah,
It's a
and
masterclass.
I gotta be careful because I've always said I don't talk about movies that I don't like, and I don't slay movies. I do really like this movie. I'm just having fun with people, so I hope people listening don't get too mad if I
Oh
start,
yeah, my
poking fingers a little bit.
again,
I'll watch this movie any day.
I will never crap on a horror film. But it's just the fact that you do that in front of Christopher Lee. It's like you've got to bring your if you're opposite Christopher Lee, surely you bring your A game. And
Yeah.
it's just that tonal difference between the real hamming up of Christopher Lee and then her just deadpan delivery of I recognize these people.
It happens, man. I mean, when you spend so much money getting Christopher Lee, you can't really spend a lot getting someone to go opposite Christopher Lee. But Andy, next scene that we have is we get to meet in the place where his sister is in a casket, and Christopher Lee is ready to go.
Oh yeah, he's got his steaks and garlic, whatever. He's got all this stuff ready. He's
He took some time to light a load of candles as well, I noticed.
oh
That was
yeah,
quite nice.
A bit of mood lighting.
yeah. But yeah, no, this is kind of a cool setting. I mean, this cemetery and there's like this forest all around the mausoleum or whatever you call it, the little chapel where her
Yeah.
like they put her body away earlier, but then now it's back out. I guess he must have brought it back out by himself. I don't know. He must be pretty strong to carry that casket all by himself.
Hey, the tall man can do it.
Yeah. But it's also interesting. Casket's like clear, made out of glass or something.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That's expensive, dude.
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, I guess I guess now I wonder if Stefan, maybe he like footed the bill for this casket. He wanted to make sure that he was going to be able to watch her, I guess. I don't
Why
know.
don't you just cremate a werewolf and put him inside of a silver urn?
There you go.
That seems like the way to go, am I right?
Yeah.
But yeah, this is when Stefan lets them know, it doesn't end here. We have to go to the dark country, which we learn is Transylvania. Again, a very vampire thing to say, but I gotta be honest, I was kind of excited to go.
Yeah, it's definitely got a lot of trappings of like Dracula and things like that. But hey, I'm not mad at it.
Who Christopher Lee used to play, so that's exciting.
Yeah.
Neil, I mean, now we're across the pond, man. We're spending a lot of time. I think they filmed a lot of this in Germany. Am I right?
They filmed it in Prague, so Czech Republic or
Oh, okay.
Czechoslovakia as it was back
Okay.
then. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think they probably tax purposes and probably Christopher Lee just probably didn't want to travel that far. He was getting on a bit then.
Andy, am I remembering correctly that the director was he Australian?
Yeah,
Philip Mora?
Philip Moore, yeah, he's Australian. And yeah, he gave
Okay,
us
that's what I thought.
he gave some cool it's been a long time since I've listened to that episode, but he gave some cool trivia talking about how Christopher Lee like he used to be some government agent or in the army or something and like so like he had some sway with like the local government or something like that. I can't remember now what the situation
There's
was,
your
but
tax break.
yeah, it was pretty cool. Like off the like for anybody out there, I think it's still on YouTube. Our Black Cat Shadow interview with Philippe Mora. He talked about this movie. He talked about
Howling 3.
yeah, Howling 3, and I think The Beast Within was another movie that he did, I think.
Yep. Yep.
But yeah, yeah. So I mean, this is a really cool. I love this like Gothic European setting though. When we're in Prague here, we got the castles, ruins, stuff like that. And it definitely makes us feel closer. It brings us back to like that Hammer horror that I talked about. Like this really feels
Yep.
like a almost like a Hammer horror film. But then you got the synthesizer score, the 80s music and stuff. So that kind of
Which will take you right out of it and put you
yeah.
back in America. But it's a healthy combination, and I'm with you. I love the scenery. It's a lot of fun to see, new places and whatnot. But one thing that is familiar is the whole, hey, our car is stranded. Can you stop and help us out? And we get one of our early werewolf sightings.
Yeah, another one of this is one of those strange scenes where you have these people that of course you have Christopher Lee and the couple they're driving to the village because they want to like investigate. They're looking for Sturba, the werewolf queen or whatever, and that's kind of
Yeah, and
interesting.
Christopher Lee is nodding off in the back seat, mind you.
Oh yeah, he is totally unimpressed with this drive. But yeah, they're like driving down this little two-lane road and they just happen upon this group of people standing in the middle of the road, so they get out to see what's going on. And they're like, "Oh, this woman, she got hit by a car. She needs to be taken to a hospital." Like, and the Americans like, "Oh, we'll take her." And then they're like, "Okay, great." So the village people just start walking away, and then they get a closer look at this woman, and she has fangs, and she's actually a werewolf. You're like, "Oh, okay." So I think they shoot her, right? I think
No,
Reb Run.
Christopher Lee stabs her, doesn't he, with
Oh,
his rods,
He handles
just
his
in the.
business.
but yeah, it takes care of that woman. So they go back. Well, that's when Christopher Lee's like, I'm just gonna walk to the village from here. And I
Which
guess
I
Yeah, he,
found
he
weird because they were all going there,
yeah,
and he
yeah, but
walked, and
Christopher
they
Lee don't want to
drove.
hang out with these rookies anymore, man.
yeah,
He's calling it quits.
he doesn't like
Do you
Jenny's
think that was
driving.
acting, or do you think he because
I think they just kept it
he
in.
Yeah.
he was notorious because my wife looked after him when he was near the end of his life, and he was uh, an absolute grump. I think it's
Oh wow.
which,
Straight
and
to
I'm
the
like,
point, huh?
well, I was like when she was saying, oh, he was so like abrupt and like and I was like, well, yes, Christopher Lee. Like, of course he is. Of course he sounded rude and he was like very stern. It's Christopher Lee. Like,
Man's got wisdom.
so I think maybe he just like I've had enough of this. I'm walking, and they were like, no, 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 you need to get, but no, okay, fine.
Just let Christopher Lee be Christopher Lee. But this also gave us a really pretty gnarly jump scare scene. It was kind of giving
Yeah.
me vibes because I think this happens towards the end, not the very end, but the third
Yeah, it
act of
happens
the
in the
original
first one.
Halloween.
Yeah,
Okay, so the little reused, but it still works where they go to get back in the car and they're like, all right, well, we've handled that. Let's go ahead and continue our drive. Oh shit, there's a werewolf in the back seat. And I thought this looked really good.
Yeah, I thought the werewolf effects were actually pretty good in this little scene here.
Actually looked like a werewolf.
Yeah.
do you reckon this was a different like? Because I know that they had the costume mix up, but do you think this was like an after thing that they put in that they'd actually been able to get some costumes at that
That
point?
would make sense. Spice it up a little bit.
Because there kind of seemed to be no real reason why he would be in the back of the car. Because I
Yeah.
thought, oh, maybe they would they put the body in the car and then it turned into, but no, it's just there.
Werewolf just snuck on in, man.
Maybe that's why Christopher Lee wanted to walk to the village. He saw the
He
werewolf in the
knew.
back seat. He's like, I'm good.
And he doesn't tell them at all.
Yeah.
Now, Andy, we've already talked about Mariana, our main werewolf. They describe her as like the lustful werewolf siren because she's got a hell of a howl. We also have to talk about who our big baddie is in this movie because you've actually met her. We got a little
Yeah.
Sybil Danning playing Sturba.
Yeah, Sybil Danning. Yep. That's our kind of the main draw for the movie, I feel like. Um, But yeah, it's cool how they expanded. You say what you will about the movie, but it's kind of cool that they expanded the werewolf mythology, and there's like this werewolf queen, and there's kind of like a werewolf cult and stuff. I thought that was pretty cool, and I think that just kind of added to the atmosphere of the movie. Just kind of added to the craziness. But yeah, I think without her in this movie, and with like she's actually was a pretty good foil to like Christopher Lee. I feel like they didn't really have a lot of screen time together, but when they did, it was pretty good.
Yeah, I completely agree. Call it saving grace, if you will. Sybil Danning demands a certain presence when she's on screen, and it's very believable that she would be this werewolf queen. I mean, she rocks awesome black leather. She looks like she could be in the bands that are performing in this movie, but she also commands this entire legion of werewolves. And one thing I've always went out and said, and I'll fully stand behind, say what you will about effects and costumes. I like a creature as much. Get it, creature from the Black Lagoon. I love that. But what I mean is, I like a monster movie just as much as the next person. But something about werewolves to me, I've always been a much bigger fan of the werewolf on two legs versus, a more traditional wolf on four legs. Where do you guys stand on that? What's your opinions?
Oh, I'm with you. Four-legged just I don't know, it kind of takes away something, I think, because it is essentially just, a jacked up wolf, whereas two
Hmm.
legs, that kind of, you know, sort of wolfman aesthetic thing. Something about that is just kind of it. It's kind of, if you're trying to be sort of have realism and stuff, I just think that kind of works better in that sort of horror aesthetic.
Yeah, I agree. I like the bipedal wolf. Yeah, and you have movies like American Werewolf in London that has like the wolf on all fours basically, and you have movies like Wolf with Jack Nicholson where it's kind of like a gradual transformation where he is kind of like wolfs out over the course of the movie, and at the end he's kind of like a wolf on all fours. But I definitely like the wolf looking on like kind of the wolf man like you guys are saying. I think I can appreciate that more, and that's basically what we get in this movie is if you don't look too closely, at the costumes, we kind of get the upright wolves in this one too.
Which looks really cool because there's several scenes of the forest and and dude, there is a lot of wolves in this movie. I'm just gonna be on werewolves. There's so many people in this cult. It's insane, but it's so cool to again, less is more. You see these werewolves running through the forest. It's the pitch black, dark of night. But then you have it's like accompanied by some amazing fog. It really does create an effect where they were in a difficult position to pull this off. But I gotta say, with what they were given, they didn't do too bad of a job.
Yeah, I agree. I really like the set pieces, like the forest that they were in, the castles, all that stuff. It just like it took a movie that could have been that's has a certain whatever about it, but this really kind of gives it like a little bit of seriousness. There are some scenes like especially when they're walking through the forest, like you don't like the werewolves just kind of pop up, and I think there's some kind of spooky scenes there. I really love that because there's some werewolves out there in the forest, but you don't exactly know where they're at and stuff. So I think all those forest scenes really kind of lent to the atmosphere to like the to what scariness there is to the movie.
Yeah, they definitely managed to create tension where it's needed, which I think takes this movie from being a so bad it's bad to a so bad it's good because you still get the horror that you want. You do get the bloodshed and the gore effects. They do eventually finally pop up, but man, you gotta love the comedy that's spliced into this movie. And if nothing else, I mean, if you're watching this movie for another particular reason, you're gonna get what you want there too. Because I think that at some point, Julie, she just looks at me and then she's like, "Does Andy just like boobs? Is that what this is?"
Uh,
I was like, "It probably doesn't hurt,"
she's seeing
but
a
I
theme
think
there.
yeah, there is a little bit of a theme there, but the real theme is I know you really well, and I know Neil too, and we're just a suckers for fun horror movies, and there's just a lot of fun to be had in this movie. I think one of the things that I always appreciate is when the outsiders come into town and all the locals are all in on the gag. Like we know, like whenever our two characters check into the hotel and they're like, "Oh, we need two rooms," and she's like, "No, we'll just have one." But you see everybody in the background is laughing and kind of like, "Well, we have the full moon festival." That should have been immediately a red flag, am I right?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, what are she was talking about the name of the village and it like basically translated to like Wolf Town or something like that. I don't even know. But it's almost like Nilbog, from Troll 2.
Right. Right.
Yeah, they gave them every opportunity to clock what was going on, and yeah. So talking of Sybil Danning, the iconic look that she had in the film, with the the trend setting of the shades for a villain, that all came about because she turned up with conjunctivitis on, I think it was the first or second day, so she couldn't have the makeup. So they just decided to stick some shades on, and it's become an iconic look.
It did, right? Like
Yeah.
I think that people like Lost Boys and things went on to do it later in the 80s.
Yeah.
I believe that was a nod to it. I think, and
It had to be. It's a cool thing to do. I mean, you wear your sunglasses at night, but you also wear them inside.
if
Yeah.
only she'd eaten an apple as well.
Oh man.
Oh yeah.
The
But
trifecta.
Andy, when you met her last year at Texas Frightmare, she was still repping like the black leather, and like her jacket had buckles on it. Like she's still rocked a cool look, man.
Yeah, she was wearing like a leather jacket, yeah.
That's
She's a lot
awesome.
shorter than I thought she'd be.
Oh, yeah, I think when people get older, they kind of.
Oh,
Yeah. But let's go ahead and get back into it, man. Like we talked about, they all attend this festival, and Stefan, he introduces more characters, and these characters are ready to avenge their family members and join in the fight to take down Sturba. And I thought this was a really cool way to give us more people to die in this movie.
exactly. That's kind of their main purpose. They're just there to die. Especially
Anybody that had under two lines before they went off to attack the castle, ain't coming back.
yeah. Especially the little guy Vasily or whatever I think it's.
Yes.
And he actually had a creepy scene here in a little bit that I'm sure we'll talk about.
He does, yeah. I mean, that's what we're leading up to because Vasily and Ben, they decide to go and try to find Sturba's castle, and they eventually do. And I thought this scene was great because it's kind of like Vasily's like, watch what I can do. And he pulls this knife out, and the dude throws it like, I don't know, 20 to 50 yards
Yeah.
away and hits this guy right in the chest. And this guy is who he hits is dressed up in some kind of like medieval executioner outfit. I made a joke and told Julie that was me in there. And that was my 15 minutes of fame. But he just nails him right in the chest.
Yeah.
But they get to the castle and they peek in and they see Sturba and the werewolf orgies and everything that's happening. But they do get spotted. I think Sturba or somebody does catch on the fact that they're there. So when they leave, they actually get followed.
Yeah, and like Sturba, she like what is it? Starts chanting or something, and so they have these
Yes.
like special holy earplugs that they put in their ears
The
to
wax
like
earplugs, yeah.
yeah, and to protect their ears, but then like Vasily drops his or whatever. He
Right?
can't find him, and so he's like freaking out trying to cover his ears, and he just tells uh
Ben.
Ben to run, go tell Stefan that we found her, and so Ben runs off and leaves Vasily to his fate.
Yeah, and his fate is incredible
Oh
because
yeah.
we hear like the screaming and the chanting, and Vasily, he's got his hands over his ears, and he just starts like profusely bleeding out of his eyes and ears. I thought it was great.
Oh yeah, it was a pretty decent special effects here.
And of course, it wouldn't be a horror movie if you didn't have the smart decisions being made of, hey, let's split up. And upon doing this, Jenny gets left alone. She gets captured and taken hostage.
Yeah, she gets left on with that creeper dude from the hotel.
Yeah, who thinks everything is funny. And
Yeah.
man, like I have seen movies where, you have Dracula and he's like, I want to suck your blood. Correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm not going to get this exact, but he's pretty much like, I want to make love with you.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he just comes right out and says it. No. I mean, at first he was like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna meet Ben at the village," and he's like leading her through the woods. But then once they get to a certain point, he's like, "No, I just want to make out with you."
Yeah,
And
he He
Yeah.
pretty much overpowers her down, and they're like in this field. And man, I was getting kind of worried for Jenny. I'm like, this isn't good. And he's like, you've never made love to a werewolf. And I was like, maybe this will be good. I'm kind of here for this.
Yeah.
And then, but that's a big no-no because I think doesn't Stirrup. It's weird because I feel like she popped up here, but I know that she has her minions doing a lot of her work for her. But basically, they tell him, you need to learn to behave. This is not going to happen.
Yeah, was it the Dollar Tree Jimmy Smits that knocked him away or whatever?
Dollar Tree Jimmy Smith's. I love it. So you're also picking up on this too. But
Yeah.
this guy, I recognized him before because in the same exact year, he was in Pee Wee's Playhouse.
Oh, was he?
Or big, no, not Pee Wee's, but the movie. What was the first movie called? Pee Wee's
Oh,
Big Adventure?
yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, he was Mickey, the guy in the denim jacket.
Oh, okay.
He was like really cool with Pee Wee Herman. Come on, you guys got to remember it.
I mean, it's been forever since I've seen that movie. I don't remember too much about it.
That's a hell of a resume for that year, isn't it?
I'm telling you what, like, what have you done recently? I've worked with Pee Wee Herman and Sybil Danning. Like, you're gold at this point. But yeah, this is pretty interesting, man, because Sterba, she reanimates Vasily's corpse and uses it to
Oh,
lure
yeah.
Stefan into a trap. And I thought this was a really creepy and effective sequence.
Yeah, because we seen earlier in his death scene, his eyes like have exploded out of their sockets, and then, and I guess his body, he's been reanimated or whatever, but he has a mask over his face. It's like this little
Sure.
kid mask, and I think that Stefan actually thinks it's a little kid, doesn't realize it's actually Vasily or whatever.
Right, because I think doesn't the Vasily's corpse, call it what you will, lures him because he has Jenny's necklace.
Yeah, he has her necklace, and so that's what gets Stefan's interest. He's like, "Where did you get that?" And then the little kid, or well, then Vasily like runs off, and so Stefan is like kind of chasing him, and it kind of leads to he leads them over to this building, and uh, Stefan corners him, and then that's when he realizes who it is. It's Vasily, but yeah,
The
not
mask comes off, right, and you see
yeah.
his dead face. It's pretty awesome.
And then he tries to attack him with a knife. I think he has like a knife and tries to
Yeah.
stab Stefan, but then
He
somebody,
yeets him out the window, right?
yes, was it Stefan that
Yeah,
eats him, or is it?
No,
Ben shows up.
Yeah, Ben
shows
shows
yeah.
up. Yeah,
Again, showing his Captain America. And I don't know if you caught that reference. This actor did play Captain America back in the day, in the
Yeah,
70s movies.
right. I assumed you were
Upon
talking about that, something like that.
And the second one even had Christopher Lee. So this is not the first time these guys have seen each other. No wonder they're pals.
Okay, yeah,
Neil's like, oh yeah, I was there for this marvelous stuff. But then this leads up to the scenes where now everybody is, we talked about this great sequence where everybody's going through the woods and we have all kinds of werewolf attacks, and mind you, a lot of these are filmed up close and so you don't get to see a lot, but what you do see is rather good. But we also get to see that Ben is loaded with I don't know if it's a shotgun or what, but he's like, yeah, I'll go ahead and take this. This seems more comfortable. And he blows some
Yeah.
werewolves away, man.
Oh yeah, he's like a crack shot, man. He's pretty good with that gun, and because basically everybody else that doesn't have a gun gets killed.
Yeah, you can't bring a knife to a gunfight. We've mentioned it before, and they're on their way to Sturba's castle, but not everybody makes it. And I think we had lost pretty much everybody except for Ben and Christopher Lee, and of course Father Florin. You
Yeah,
gotta
the
have the
priest
priest
guy.
around. Yeah.
Yeah,
He's got to be around because it's really important what happens to him when we get to the castle.
Oh yeah, he has an interesting scene there.
He
Because
does, and
he's the first one to run into Sturba.
he is, and this is a point where I'm like, you guys should really work together, or at least let Stefan handle the big baddie. This is not your job, but good versus evil. This is how it's got to go down. And we got some more creature effects, but it wasn't exactly what I expected. Father Florin gets attacked by this bat-like demon creature that belongs to Sturba, and I was getting very like Fright Night vibes, which again wasn't that also like 85 time frame?
Yeah, I think so.
Neil, what do you think about what's going on, man? We got creatures
Well,
going inside your mouth.
Yeah, I mean, also, I think we find out around this time that Stefan is Sturva's brother, which
Yeah.
It brings like a whole new meaning to the title of the movie.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Well,
Yeah.
It should be
well,
called like Howling 2. Your sister's a werewolf and your sister's
which,
a werewolf.
did you know what the original title wasn't? Your sister's a werewolf. The original title was
Of course I do,
Sturba
but please
werewolf bitch.
tell their yes, Sturba, werewolf bitch. And they were like, you can't put bitch in the title. And I'm like, yeah, but you probably should have. That's a lot more gnarly than your sister's a werewolf, except for the fact that now it brings a lot more meaning.
Well, you can blame the MPAA for that. That was
Oh yeah.
everywhere else they were okay with it, but the MPAA went no.
Yeah, but yet nowadays we
Dangerous.
have a movie literally called Bitch Slap.
Exactly.
Andy, come on, yeah, practical effects, creature effects. What did you think of this demon scene?
Yeah, it is pretty cool because you've seen it because this bat creature is like part of her scepter or staff that she always is carrying around. So it's kind of cool to kind of see it come alive and she directs it to attack the priest, and so it does. And yeah, it's like sticking its tail in his mouth and I don't doing stuff.
It
I
was
don't
kind of
know.
like from Aliens, right? The way that the
Oh,
face huggers kind of do their thing. That's what I was
yeah.
getting out of it.
It was kind of like attacking his face. That's right. Yeah.
I say missed opportunity. I mean, end of the movie should have ended with Father Flora's, stomach and chest bursting open. A little werewolf bat creature should have came out, but that would have
Oh
cost
yeah.
more money to do. But yeah, man, I mean, at this point, when it's revealed that Christopher Lee is the brother, I was like, well, that makes so much sense. That's why he knows everything about Sturba outside of his profession. Probably why he's in the profession, because at some point, I mean, what's going on? Because like if they're brother and sister, we know like she is super old. How old is Christopher Lee's character?
Well, yeah, isn't it supposed to be a 10,000th birthday or something, which is the whole
Right.
reason the festival's taking place.
So
So
are
Yeah.
we led to believe that Christopher Lee is human or what? There's some
Uh,
unexplored territory here.
that would have
that's
been a good reveal at the end, in that he turned out to be one as well.
I'm feeling like a really good three-way script we can get going, guys. I mean, I'm pretty sure Howling has entered that Amityville territory where getting the rights is probably pretty cheap.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
The
But
Howling 9, Return of Sturba or something. That'd
there
be
it
cool.
is. I'm in for it. Let's talk to her. But
Do you reckon we
yeah,
can get Sybil Danning out of retirement?
that was one thing that was really weird. I was going to make a joke about, like, I don't know if she would do it because she's much older now, but even her character in this movie was super old, but they brought in a younger woman kind of as a sacrifice, and she, like, inhaled her youth or something. So you're getting that
Mhm.
fountain of youth thing going again. So I guess, do you guys think that's what the plans were for Jenny's character? Why they wanted to keep her?
Oh yeah, probably so. Well, no,
That's a good
because
theory.
the one guy, the guy of Werewolf, I don't forget what his name is, but he mentioned something about like he was gonna turn her into a werewolf, I think.
Oh, it just maybe they were just keeping her to try to lure Stefan's character there. His name was Vlad, which again,
Vlad, yeah,
I mean,
another
could
werewolf.
you
No,
say vampire enough?
yeah, another vampire thing. Yeah,
In my notes, I
I
just
think
put male werewolf.
yeah.
I think that some of these writers, I mean, because it was written 4 or 5 times. I think it was rewritten 4 or 5. I think that at one point somebody tried to think they were being really meta, like by calling somebody Vlad and like having all these vampire references. Just like, they'll
Hey.
never get this. It's going to be so subtle. Nobody's going to get this.
But my memory on the ending is a little vague, so I might rely on you guys because I do remember that it becomes a showdown between Stefan and Sturba, and I
Mhm.
even remember what happens at the end, but I am drawing a blank as to how she catches on fire.
Yeah, so
They burn together, don't they? It's
yeah,
They
like,
do.
Stefan pulls out his trusty titanium knife and pokes her with it, and then she catches on fire, and he catches on fire, and they just both. And then
So
there's like,
it
why
was
does he catch on fire though? Then that leads into my thoughts of he wasn't human.
yeah, probably so, but
I
it's
mean,
like,
granted, he's holding her, so you could say he ignites because, he's kindling to the fire as well. But it makes me wonder if, maybe deep down, did he get impaled too?
could be. But I think he just wanted to make sure that she really died, so he held on to the knife, as it was stabbed inside of her, and he was
You're
just
not going anywhere.
yeah, he was holding on to her, making sure that she actually died, I guess.
the thing with that showdown is like it's sort of built up to be this like epic showdown, and he essentially just walks up to her and stabs her.
Yeah.
After
It
all
is
this, it's
very underwhelming, and but even the same thing could be said for Ben when he ends up killing Mariana. He just like walks in and stabs her in the stomach. She's gone, done.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and with Vlad too, he like shoots Vlad or something, doesn't he? Or stab, I forget what he does with him, but
You know, his look was pretty cool though. Eventually, he was getting to a point where he was like not able to control himself, so he
yeah.
started to become one of the better looking werewolves in the movie, and I was really appreciative to that. But again, it doesn't lead up to much except for everybody's getting stabbed and burned alive, and you know, if you don't think that's underwhelming, let's really talk about the end of this movie because eventually we're back in America, and it's great to know that Ben and Jenny are together and they seem to be doing well and they have a very like happy relationship. And he does his best Captain America and he lifts her up with one arm and he carries her to the door because, guys, wouldn't you know, it's Halloween time.
Yep, it's Halloween, yeah.
And you know,
and
you get a knocking at the door. That means you get trick or treaters, right? And
yeah. I wonder what the kid trick or treating is dressed up as.
it's
Yeah.
got to be a vampire, am I right? No, it's a werewolf. And you know what are we saying about this? Do we have a kid in the most convincing werewolf costume you've ever seen? I mean, this is not something you got from Walmart. Or are we now introduced at the fact that they were followed and now we have werewolves in their apartment building?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's just meant to be like there's werewolves all over the place and now maybe they're feeling more emboldened to just be out in the open or something. I don't know. But they don't really take it as it being a werewolf. They kind of take it as just a kid trick or treating. Like, wow, that's kind of a good looking like a they did comment on the
Mighty
mask.
convincing
Yeah.
costume.
Well, also it's a quite a tall kid. It's a good like 6 foot.
Oh, really?
It's,
Okay.
it's,
Was it
it's
really?
but well, it's like when they answer the door, it's kind of he looks really tall, so it's kind of
Oh.
like um, but it's just after everything they've been through to not. It's like it just didn't even cross their mind. It's just like,
Decisions
Yeah.
being made, am I
ooh,
right?
Yeah.
They
let's
decide
follow
though
him.
they're gonna you know people just move again. I this movie has some of the best laughable things like earlier, and I'm not gonna sit here and just go back to scenes that you know we didn't talk about, but there was a small scene where it's like let's have a jump scare scene. Oh no, Jenny's taking a bath and a werewolf's gonna come in. No, it's just Ben. He's like ha ha, and then nothing. Like the scene goes nowhere, and I got the same vibes at this scene because Ben literally is like, oh yeah, when you were away, people moved next door. I'm like, when was Jenny away? How long has it been since everything has happened? Like, did
Right.
she go to the store and somebody moved in, or you know, did she travel for her job? We get no explanation, but we're gonna find out exactly who moved next door because they go across the hall, knock on the door, and wouldn't you know it, a priest lives there. But he's a very interesting feller.
Yeah, and they say, your boy just trick or treated at our door, and he's like, I don't have any kids here, so you're like wondering, like, well, that's weird. And but there's something funky going on with the
well,
priest.
it's like, why don't you come in? Oh no, maybe later. Oh, good, good. It's basically really
Yeah,
Creepy
overhyped. And then
bastard.
as they walk off, they go, "Yeah, much later."
yeah,
Yeah, and that's the ending of the movie. I mean, it's
yeah,
in a nutshell, it's not a long movie. It is a very entertaining movie. It's one that will stay with you because you'll find yourself saying, "What the hell did I just watch?" And
yeah,
I think this is one of those things where I asked Julie about this. I said, "You know, she likes to watch the movie before hearing this podcast about it." And I'm like, I don't know if this is one you should watch or not, but I would like to show it to you, mostly because I just, you know, I love to watch these werewolf movies. I know today I was thinking about it. I've seen easily over 20 werewolf movies. I was able to name them all. This has got to be one of my favorite subgenres, but to hear somebody cover this movie and you have seen it has to give you the utmost reaction of that sounds insane. I have to watch it. And so I feel like
hmm
most people have or will eventually watch this movie.
yeah. I think it's definitely this movie is not is known as being a inferior sequel to the original. I mean, understandably so, but I think it does have a cult following. Um,
Did
and
it
it
on the word cult.
oh yeah, but it definitely has to be one of the strangest '80s horror sequels, and especially with that subtitle, the your sister's a werewolf. I mean, I think that just kind of like stands out. If you're like looking at movies to watch and you're like, huh, The Howling 2, Your Sister's a Werewolf. I mean, that's gonna catch a lot of people's attention, I feel like. But yeah, I mean, thinking about this movie, like I feel like it is watchable, and I think, with the addition of Christopher Lee, I think it makes it that much more so. Um, but not, and I don't think, and I'm not sure if they tried to play it straight and it's just kind of unintentionally funny, or if there's like some camp built into this or not. What do you guys think?
Well, I think having Christopher Lee in it adds it brings that kind of Hammer horror campness to it anyway. So you've
Yeah,
already got that, and because he can be so deadpan and serious, but there's still a very flamboyant kind of uh I don't know, he just brings that kind of campiness to it that
yeah,
that kind of it's to be honest, anything you do will be such a jarring kind of uh aesthetic to Christopher Lee. So um but it felt to me like they leaned into some of the more ridiculous things that were in there. Whether that was by choice or they kind of had no choice. It was
Right.
because it was a production full of um just disasters, wasn't it? You know.
It seemed to be, but all in all, it still ends up working because this movie allowed us to have an ongoing franchise. Otherwise, who knows if they had never made it due to everything, all the problems they had, we might have just only had The Howling. And The Howling itself is a great and fun and scary horror movie and werewolf movie. But I was so excited. Andy, you talked about like the title of this movie being like Your Sister's a Werewolf. I think that also kicked off like if you think about it, a few years later, you had like My Best Friend is a Vampire. Like
oh
it
yeah,
became one of those things to put taglines and to put family members and it's always someone you know type thing in there. And it's such a 80s trend that I think stayed around for a while. But I think Your Sister's a Werewolf is better than saying like Howling 2, It's Not Over Yet, which also was one of the taglines that they originally had done. And so I'll take it. But yeah, I'm here for it, man. Howling 2, Your Sister's a Werewolf, fun movie. Recommend it, especially if you're into So Bad It's Good. The movie right now does stream for free on Tubi, so check it out. And while you're there, watch as much of the Howling franchise as you can, because the funny thing is, it's much like Amityville, where each movie is its own movie in itself. And if you thought this movie was batshit crazy, you were right. But if we come back for the Howling 3, which we're going to do, that's a whole nother ball game, but we
no,
won't dare spoil
yeah.
what territory that goes into. Let's talk to our special guest of the day, Neil. We love having you on here. We've just tied you in for at least 7 or 8 more episodes, but you make posters, you do horror conventions, you do all these great things. You have a store, so if somebody wants to find you and see what you're about and end up owning some merchandise, let's talk about it.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I if you go to neilfrasergraphics.com, there's a link to my store. I think there's also my Shopify link, which you can get via my socials. So Neil Fraser Graphics on Instagram, Facebook, Neil Fraser 78 on X. I tend to post purely work stuff, and all the things I get up to and some of the projects I've been working on. Um, got a few exciting things coming up, so watch that space.
Heck yeah, man. And
Yeah.
let's I'm gonna toot your horn a little bit, man. If again, if people have followed Andy and I independently or together, they probably very familiar with you. But if this is one of those instances where someone's like, "Oh, Howling 2," I feel like listening to some people chalk it up about it. Great. Hopefully, you guys liked it and you'll stick around. But to get familiar with Neil's work, like he has done VHS covers for Terrifier. Is it two? One or two?
Terrifier 1.
Terrifier 1. You did a VHS cover or an alternate cover for Host, which is phenomenal. But man, you did a Scream poster that took off for the original Scream. I bet if anybody looked online, they'll be like, I've actually seen this image before. You are the man to blame. Like, you have some miraculous work.
Yeah, I mean that unfortunately has become the my most stolen bit of artwork
Yeah.
That's a form of flattery in itself.
It is, but when I don't make any money on it, and I go onto Display and I see it on there, or I go onto I get I got a Facebook ad for my own design on a pillow.
Oh,
And you're
jeez.
like, hey, hang on, I don't
Welcome
even
to
make any money out of this.
2026.
But yeah, I mean, I've done it. I've done a few screen posters now, but yeah, I mean, along with my official work, I should have some official work with some new official work with Jaws coming out. It was supposed to come out in January, but it got delayed. But that's all been signed off by Universal, so that should be coming out. I did a series of all 4 films.
Oh, wow.
They should be out. Should be this month. Should be hopefully this month because I've got new money. So I'm hoping it's this month. I've got a couple of convention appearances this month and next month. The big horror con, the big UK horror con is in April. I'm really looking forward to that because we've got some great guests. We've got the girls from Terrifier going to be there. We've got
Michael
Bonnie Aaron's.
Ironside's going to be there, right?
Michael Ironside's the one next week that I'm going to be at with pretty much the entire cast of Starship Troopers. So
A little bit of Prom Night 2 love. I always
Oh,
loved
yeah.
Michael
Yeah.
Ironside from that. That's
we
another
love Michael
series
Ironside.
to have fun with. We got to do the prom nights too. Those are great for
Yeah.
certain
Oh,
reasons.
absolutely.
Neil,
Prom Night
thanks
2,
for
Electric Boogaloo.
coming on here, man. It was great to chalk up werewolf movies with you. We'll definitely have to get you back soon again.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
it's been far too long. It's been far too long, and I always love catching up with you guys. I love werewolf films, I love creature features, and I love chatting horror films. So what's
Hell
better
yeah.
than that?
Yeah.
Andy, got anything else you want to add, my dude?
No, I'm good.
All right. Well, as always, we really do appreciate you guys checking us out. If you like the episode, go give us a 5-star, give us a written review. We don't have many, but we'll take what we can get. Otherwise, just stick around, subscribe. You don't want to miss what we got coming out next because we try to get these things out bi-weekly at the latest. And we love reaching deep into our pockets and finding all kinds of horror gems, be it schlock from the 50s or grindhouse movies from the 70s, splatter movies from the 80s, or hey, let's see what CGI is all about, 90s movies. We always have a lot of fun doing it and a lot of fun talking about it. So that wraps up this episode. I'm Phantom Dark Dave,
And I'm Abnormal Andy.
and thank you for listening to the Scream and Skull podcast.
See ya.